Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horse.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
When the air's too full of fiddle tunes and the dances are worn out, you need some old buck dancers just to dance them fiddles down. 'Cause fiddle tunes don't disappear, they don't stay in the room. They keep on rising upwards and they bounce right off the moon. And the moon, it turns an eerie blue and sends the tunes back down. And all the old buck dancers, they all rise up from the ground. Well, they hike their pants and begin to dance at the edge of the sleepy town. And the high-top boots flatten out the roots of the trees for miles around. Them spirits start to stomping when they hear them fiddle tunes. And they dance all night in the pale blue light of the old buck dancer's moon. Happens every year or so when the tunes are extra high, and they hold a ghostly contest just to see what all they got. There's a one-armed man who leads the band, there's even old Joe Clark, and when they start to stomp and all the dogs begin to bark. People in the village think they're howling at the moon, but if you listen close enough, they're howling right in tune. 'Cause they hike their pants and begin to dance at the edge of the sleepy town. And the high-top boots flatten out the roots of the trees for miles around. Them spirits start to stomping when they hear them fiddle tunes. And they dance all night in the pale blue light of the old buck dance. Yeah, they boil that cabbage down, boys that do the chicken reel. They do-si-do, it's a ghostly show, rockin' toe to heel. And when the tunes are finished and the air is sweet and clear, they're slapping backs and making tracks and they all disappear. So fiddlers, rosin up your bows and do what you do best. Fill the air for another year while the old buck dancers rest. 'Cause they hike their pants and begin to dance at the edge of the sleepy town. And the high-top boots flatten out the roots of the trees for miles around. Them spirits start to stomping when they hear them fiddle tunes. And they dance all night in the pale blue light of the old buck dance.
All right.
Thank you.
The show is Horse to Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, and our guest today, hailing from Staten Island,
All the way.
New York,
Despite all the bridges, we still managed to get here.
is Bob Wright, award-winning songwriter, and his group Harbortown Review.
That's right.
Why don't you introduce us to the rest of the guys in the band?
Sure. We got over here on fiddle and mandola and just about anything with strings, Mr. Norm Peterson.
Nice to meet you, Norm.
And on banjo and guitar, Bob Conroy.
Another Bob.
Another Bob. That's right. Like I said, we keep him in supply. And there's Bill Dorch back on bass, and he also
Hi, Bill.
plays guitar and
Welcome to the show, fellas. I really like your songs.
Thank you.
The kind of songs I like to listen to.
Well, that's good. It's the kind of songs I like to play, so it's nice to know people appreciate it.
So you've written a lot of songs that have to do with Staten Island.
Yeah, I got a grant a few years ago to write a CD called Harbortown about Staten Island, and kind of started from there. I've been getting grants every couple of years to write more songs. We just did a show on immigration recently, And we're going to do a song from that I wrote for that show. And it's been good. It's been fun.
Great. Why don't we hear that tune
hear
as
that
long
song?
as you introduced it?
Sure. It's called Tenements, because there's a lot of tenements on the east side of Manhattan. They pay their rent in tenements with lots of time in ditches, and grumble that the landlords are a bunch of sons of bitches. They freeze there in the winter time and brother in July, and it's rare the man among them leaves, they'll leave before they die. There's nothing wrong with tenements, they're just a pile of bricks. There's nothing wrong with tenements, a wrecking ball won't fix. There's nothing wrong with tenements,
I won't go back again.
I'd rather be a beggar man, at least I'd see the sun. You can tell by all the snoring when the men have been out drinking. They pack them in so tightly you can hear your neighbor thinking. They drown themselves in gin and beer that barely has fermented. There's no reason to be sober in the palaces they rented. There's nothing wrong with tenements, they're just a pile of bricks. There's nothing wrong with tenements, a wrecking ball won't fix. There's nothing wrong with tenements, I won't go back again. I'd rather be a beggar man, at least I'd see the sun. Well, they feel like they are living in a cabin or a stable, but most of them still rise and shine and do what they are able. They'd heard that in America all things were vast and wide, but it's hard to see the good of it when you're always stuck inside. There's nothing wrong with tenements, they're just a pile of bricks. There's nothing wrong with tenements, a wrecking ball won't fix. There's nothing wrong with tenements, I won't go back again. I'd rather be a beggar man, at least I'd see the sun. Now Mr. Jacob Reese has sworn to change the way things run. He came here with his picture box, he should have bought a gun. For if ever there was anything that needed chasing down, it's the landlord of a tenement when the rent comes back around. There's nothing wrong with tenements, they're just a pile of bricks. There's nothing wrong with tenements, a wrecking ball won't fix. There's nothing wrong with tenements,
I won't go back again.
I'd rather be a beggar man, at least I'd see the sun. No, there's nothing wrong with tenements, they're just a pile of bricks. There's nothing wrong with tenements, a wrecking ball won't fix. There's nothing wrong with tenements, we won't go back again. I'd rather be a beggar man, at least I'd see the sun. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, we got into kind of doing those kind of things, and just we play a variety of styles, you know, from bluegrass to old-timey to 19th century to kind of whatever suits the song.
Cool. What would you like to do for us next?
Well, when I was doing that show, I got to thinking about they're building a wall down along the Mexican border, and if you look at the Great Wall of China, there used to be two things coming from Staten Island that you could see from outer space. One was the Great Wall of China, and the other one was the dump on Staten Island. But they've closed the dump, and the Great Wall is still there, but it's kind of a monument to futility at this point. And I was thinking, there's no wall between here and Canada. There is a building wall between here and Mexico. The Canadians tend to come down and they become musicians and artists and poets and singers and stuff. So I wrote a banjo tune called Canadian Invasion. And if there are any Canadians out there, you'll know to stand at the proper time. I threw in a little bit of the Canadian national anthem, just to make peace with our brothers across the border. It's called Canadian Invasion.
Pretty tune, pretty tune.
It's a lot. It was I had most of it written, and I decided, well, it didn't sound Canadian enough, so got more. You can't get more Canadian than Canadian anthem, I suppose.
I guess not. A.
A. Yeah. I should have done it in D, because those are the Canadian keys, D and A.
What you got in mind for us now?
Well, we could do, sticking with the immigrant thing, when I was doing research on my family, I finally discovered my great-great-grandmother up in Watervliet, New York, upstate New York. My grandfather was a tugboat captain in New York, and so a lot of the stuff I write, as you can see from the CD cover, has to do with the water and with the ocean. I figured, you know, I belong to the International Bluegrass Music Association. I was in the leadership class a couple years ago, and I've been playing bluegrass with the Risky Business Bluegrass Band for about 15 years. But my own stuff takes that influence and goes off in different directions with it. And I still like to stick close to the tradition with the instrumentation and everything. And hopefully we've been doing that. And I just discovered that I can't write about coal mines because I didn't grow up in Appalachia or any of those places. So I'd written a song about the Brooklyn Bridge because of the people working underground there and in the caissons and stuff. And this song is about my great-great-grandmother, but it's about immigrants in general, about what that experience is. And it's called Immigrant Dream. It was the name of the show that we just did recently also. It's called Immigrant Dream. Who are you, Annie Colley, with your hard, calloused hands, and a husband who works as a riverboat man? You're taking in laundry or pregnant again, but you're proud of the life you have made here. You're proud of the life you have made. Hearts and hands, hopes and plans. That's what an immigrant brings. Thoughts of home and families grown. They're only an immigrant's dream. They are only an immigrant's dream. Well, you can walk to St. Patrick's and the river is free, and it could be the Shannon, the Liffey, the Lee. It reminds you of Ireland so far across the sea, and you're proud of the life you have made here. You're proud of the life you have made. Hearts and hands, hopes and plans. That's what an immigrant brings. Thoughts of home and family grown. They're only an immigrant's dream. They are only an immigrant's dream. Well, it's not always easy. There are people who hate, and at times you miss home with such pain that it hurts. But you married for love, and there's food there to eat, and you're proud of the life you have made here. You're proud of the life you have made. Hearts and hands, hopes and plans. That's what an immigrant brings. Thoughts of home and families grown. They're only an immigrant's dream. They are only an immigrant's dream. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very
Beautiful
much.
song, beautiful.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I figured to celebrate my great-great-grandmother and everybody else who's come here, which is pretty much all of us.
We should let folks know how to get in touch with you in case they want to find out more about your recordings and your touring schedule, your appearances.
Okay, you need my website address or?
Yeah, you can tell them your website address.
Sure, it's www.bojomusic.com, BOJOMUSIC.com. And also Bob and Norma are in a group called Stout, and they have a website also if you want to find some of their stuff. That'd be great.
Stoutmusic.org.
Yeah, let's take a look at the cover of your recent album
Yeah, actually,
called The Diver.
yeah, I actually worked as a commercial diver for a while.
Oh, you did?
And I've always been trying to write a song about diving, and then they also came out sending like, French pop music. And I finally came up with something I liked.
It's a great song.
Thank you.
What are you ready to do now?
I'll do another one from that album called The Keeper. We're supposed to have the National Lighthouse Museum on Staten Island, but it hasn't materialized as of yet. The buildings are there, and the funding hasn't come through. And there are a number of lighthouses in New York Harbor, and I'd written a song called Kate Walker, which I may do later if it was time, about a lighthouse keeper there. But I wanted to write one just kind of in general about lighthouse keepers. This is called The Keeper. Darkness on the water and the wind begins to roar. Harbor somewhere's up ahead beyond the rocky shore. The ship is running with the wind, the captain scans the night, searching for a way inside, searching for the light. High upon a lonely cliff, the keeper struggles on, fighting through the pain to do the things that must be done. As long as he's been stationed there, he'd always done his chores. Not a single ship had ever broken on his shore. But earlier that evening, he had slipped upon a rock, bent his leg beneath him, and had passed out from the shock. When he had awoken there, the sun had left the sky, and out upon the water he could see their running lights. The captain searched with practiced eyes, and bearing that were true, waiting for the harbor light to come into his view. His vessel was committed, he was out of room to turn. He cursed the keeper of a light who couldn't make it burn. Well, the crew could hear the crashing waves above the roaring gale. Got the anchors ready and they shortened up the sail. The captain, he was staring in the darkness off the port. Just a few more minutes and their lives would all be lost. Keeper took the lighthouse stairs one step at a time. It was all that he could do to drag his busted limb behind. The higher that he got, the more determined he became. The last thing that he managed was to reignite the flame. Well, the captain saw a flash of light and then he saw the rocks. Gave the wheel a quarter turn and slipped in by the dock. Above them they could see the light as bright as any star, shining through the dark of night to show them where they are. They found the keeper later. He was dead beside the lens, sacrificed his life to save the lives of other men. And later in the pubs that night they raised their glasses high. Here's to those who choose to be the keeper of the light.
I really enjoy your music, man.
Oh, thanks a lot.
And this CD is really nicely produced. It's got a very nicely mixed sound.
Yeah, we did that at Moon Studios on Staten Island. And Henry, the engineer then, the owner, he opened the studio a few years ago on Staten Island, but he worked in Manhattan a long time, and he worked with a lot of really well-known people, and he's got great ears, and he doesn't take my crap in the studio. If it doesn't sound good, he tells me right off, you know, and which is what I want. I don't want anybody telling me it's great if it's not.
Well, you've got about enough time for one more tune and a piece of a little one.
Okay. I'll go to the Lighthouse song I was telling you about.
Okay.
Go Kate Walker. It's a true story. This is one of the songs that I did for the Harbortown CD on Staten Island. If you take the Staten Island ferry, there's a lighthouse right as the ferry comes out of the dock. It's called the Robbins Reef Lighthouse. But the lighthouse keeper there for years was a German woman named Kate Walker, whose husband died and left her the lighthouse keeper. And these are her last words. Filled with boats and all those faces looking for a shelter from the storm. You know it may be safer than the open waters, but the dangers aren't over. You still need someone to guide you home. Mind the light, Kate, mind the light. Keep us protected in the night. As long as it's still burning, everything will be alright. Mind the light, Kate, mind the light. Well, Katie Walker was a lighthouse keeper, a mile offshore on Robbins Reef. She toted kerosene throughout the night. For over 30 years she struggled to keep the harbor safe from trouble, making sure she kept it burning bright. Mind the light, Kate, mind the light. Keep us protected in the night. As long as it's still burning, everything will be alright. Mind the light, baby, mind the light. Here's a toast when she graced us. It took 4 men to replace her, and now the light works automatically. But sometimes from a foggy ferry, Look hard at the light, and you might see her sitting out there with her tea.
Mind the light, Kate, mind the light. Keep us protected in the night. As long as it's still burning, everything will be alright. Mind the light, Kate, mind the light.
Mind the light, Kate, mind the light. Keep us protected in the night. As long as it's still burning, everything will be alright. Mind the light, Kate, mind the light.
All right. We just have time to thank you. Plug your website one more time,
Right.
bojomusic.com.
That's it.
And we might have time to play a little bit.
Sounds good.
Grandfather's
You gonna
Clock.
join us?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
we can tag a little bit on.
We'll
3 banjos, no waiting.
test the sonic capabilities of the studio now. Because the odds of them all being in tune at the same time. This may never have happened in New Jersey, but let's kick it off.